Howdy y'all, it's Ryan from RNA Music, deep in the heart of Texas. That's where I'm at right now, and today it's time to talk about riffs. The riff. One of my favorite things about guitar is playing riffs. Probably the reason I started playing guitar. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you started too because of some awesome riff that you heard. Riffage. So we put out a video the other day about riffs, and it was really well received. I got a lot of positive feedback on it. I thought that was really cool, actually. Made me feel good right here in my D'Addario heart. Yeah, so I thought I'd do another follow-up video to that about riffs and writing riffs, and give you a couple of key points, a couple of key things to think about when you are writing your own riffs. Yeah, you. Right there, you. Writing your own riffs. You should be doing that. You really should. It's great, and it's not as hard as a lot of people think. So I'm going to give you some tips for writing riffs. Let's get started. So to get you motivated writing riffs, hopefully you already are, but if you're not, I'm going to give you some tips, and I'll give you a little bit of motivation to go ahead and write a couple, alright? Now first off, stop overthinking it. Don't overthink the riff, okay? A lot of us, when we sit down to write our own music, we just think about it way too much, and we're way too judgmental of our own playing and our own work, and we have our own insecurities, like what if I play it and it's crap? Well, that happens sometimes, but just try again. So don't overthink the riff. Simple, most of the time, is better. Let me show you. Heard that one before? Pretty rockin', I would have to say. And about as simple as it gets with riffs. Simple. A riff doesn't have to be complicated. That one has got 2 chords. That's it. 2 chords. Riff that shook the world. Alright? So don't overcomplicate it. It can be very easy. What? Yeah? Yeah? Love it or hate it, catchy riff. Generally gets your head to bobbing. Great riff. 4 chords. So easy. Now you can have some really complicated riffs out there. You've got some like Lamb of God stuff that's just like, whoa, crazy, and some progressive metal and, you know, some Dream Theater stuff. You got some pretty crazy riffs out there going on, and they can be mega complex, and that's awesome. I love some Lamb of God riffs. Those guys are some riff masters, right? So it can be mega complex, but it doesn't have to be. Some of the greatest riffs in history were extremely simple to play, right? Mega simple, mega riff, right? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Simple. Yeah. Killer riff, simple. Right, now it's got some extra stuff, but as soon as someone goes, the rock. Now, in my opinion, the really best way to know if a riff is good or not is if you play it, or you hear it, and you start going, yeah, nice. The little head bob, little head bang, whatever. And if it gets you moving, your body, it's a good riff. Complex or simple, doesn't matter. So every good riff, in my opinion, has got two important things. We've got rhythm and repetition. A strong rhythm of some kind, and then repetition, right? It's rhythmic and it's repeatable. And repeatable means you could repeat the riff a la, repeat it. Every riff you've ever heard just repeats over and over. Totally repeated. Now that one had a steady rhythm. A lot of times you can have a steady rhythm where it's just... Or you can have a riff that's a little bit more jagged and has holes in space. Like this. Plenty of open space. So it doesn't have to be a steady chugging, just full-on rhythm. You can have space there. Even going back to the first one. Space, right? So, rhythm, a nice rhythm, repetition, riffs. All right. Now here's the point of this whole video. I wanted to show you how easy it can be to write a riff. You don't have to be a technical, legendary master to write and play a cool riff. All right? It's not necessary to be a technical genius to write cool riffs. It doesn't hurt, but it's definitely not necessary to write a good riff, in my opinion. Let's just go ahead and get down to writing our own riffs. So what I would like to do is ask you guys and gals, if there's gals watching, to sit down with your guitar, write a riff, long, short, doesn't matter, just needs to be rhythmic and repeatable. Shoot a video. Now you can use whatever you got. If you got an iPhone, use an iPhone. If you got a cheap Kodak still camera, use that. If you've got a video camera, it doesn't matter. Use whatever you have that you can use to record yourself playing your riff into YouTube. Now, you're going to share your video YouTube link on RNA Music's Facebook page and leave it as a response. You can copy the link to your YouTube as a response in the comment section of this video. So share it on the RNA Music Facebook page. Share it as a response to this video. What I'm going to do is I've asked my good friend John Pizz at D'Addario and Company to help me pick a winner. Actually, we're going to pick two. I'm going to pick one, and John's going to pick one. John is my sales rep at D'Addario and also an orange artist. So John knows a thing or two about music and guitar playing and riffs. Now, out of all the video responses we get from RNA Music's Facebook page and as a video response to this video, we're going to pick our favorite riffs. Now, it's not about a winner or loser. Like I said, I'm not really into the competitive part of this. It's just more about my favorite. So I'm going to pick my favorite. John's going to pick his favorite. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of sets of D'Addario NYXL strings. That's right. My favorite riff is going to get a couple of sets of D'Addario NYXL, the new super strings that got the crunch and the punch. And we're going to mail them to you. John's going to pick his favorite riff. Same thing. We're going to get you some NYXLs. All right? A couple of sets. Not just one. A couple of sets of NYXL strings. They are great. I've been enjoying them tremendously. And strings are also something that's very easy for me to mail worldwide. You can be in Canada, you can be in England, you can be in the UK, you can be in Scotland, you can be in Brazil, you can be wherever. It doesn't matter. This is open worldwide. And yeah, we're going to pick our favorite riff. Now, it's not the most complex riff, not the fastest riff, not the most technically demanding riff, none of that. For me, it's the riff that I listen to and I go, yeah, yeah, oh, I'm tapping my foot, yeah, yeah, okay. It might be a technically demanding one that I like the best. It might be a very, very simple riff. It doesn't really matter. So the criteria on what I pick as my favorite is not down to technique. So all you guys who feel like you're not a great player and not a great technician, that's okay. You could totally win some strings. Okay? Now if you're technically advanced and amazing, that's great too. But, you know, don't throw a technique in just for the technique's sake. It's really about the groove, how catchy the riff is. And if it makes me nod my head, if I get goosebumps on my arm, it's a good riff. So you guys are all wondering, how long do I have to do this, Ryan? Oh, the pressure. No pressure. This should be very simple, all right? Now the deadline for submission is Rocktober 15th, midnight. I love Rocktober. It's my favorite month, right? So you have to have liked RNA Music's Facebook page and left your YouTube video riff response as a comment on RNA Music's Facebook page. You can go ahead and leave it as a comment on this video in YouTube if you'd like as well. Right now, after they've been submitted, depending on how many's been submitted, it might take maybe a week or so for me and John to sift through the riffs and pick out our favorites. You guys excited? I'm excited. I can't wait to hear some riffs. Love riffs. So the two people who create the riffs that I like the best and John likes, we're going to send you some NYXL strings, couple of sets. Now who knows if we may not throw in a couple of other things from D'Addario and RNA Music. Who knows? We always like to go above and beyond. That John Pizz, he likes to do that. So do I. Can't wait. If y'all have any more questions, just leave me a question below and we'll get it taken care of. Show me your riffs. Riffs. Keep the music alive.